One more match, main event time for the AEW Championship. All the matches have been for a title, but for the AEW title, Lance Archer versus Stone Cold Jon Moxley. Lance Archer's entrance, immediately this thing got off on the right foot. His entrance is made by, he throws a production crew man through the supposed plate glass of his entrance that's supposed to shatter. He does every week. He comes out the entranceway having attacked a crew member or beaten somebody up and throwing them out at somebody's feet. No, he doesn't. He doesn't do that for real. He doesn't attack people, innocent bystanders, every week and get away with it with no repercussions. You're telling me from the time I see this guy that this is stupid and it's bullshit and it's not real and not be taken seriously. And when the announcers buy it, they sound stupid. You notice JR kind of, well, what in the world happened there? And got away from it. But I know not to take any of these people seriously when I see something like that. It's mark booking from people who were never taught how to write, book, manipulate, choreograph, or whatever phrase you want to use, wrestling to be believable. It's just a joke to these people.
Does he get fined $5,000? Does he get fined $5,000 every time he does this like the Young Bucks do?
Of course not. Or they'd mention it. Yeah. And nobody believes that anyway, because the Young Bucks would be walking around like Gorilla Monsoon with 10 grand in their pocket. Gorilla Monsoon walked around with 10 grand of cash in his pocket because he might need to buy something sometime, and nobody was going to fucking take it away from him. You think the Young Bucks are walking around on the street in California with 10 grand in their fucking pocket and nobody'd take it away from them? Grade school kids would have them hung upside down with their toes stuck in their ears. Anyway, so Lance Archer comes out, and what they have him do kills the whole goddamn thing to begin with, because it's just stupid, and it especially wouldn't happen every week. One time and leave it alone, maybe that. All right. Here comes Moxley. He's so far outside, he's all the way inside again. He goes from inside to outside and back to inside, walks a fucking mile, gets in the ring, the bell rings, and he hits his finish for a 2 count. That's the opening move of the match. What the fuck? And they've also, after the previous 2 fights in the back that were stagey and unrealistic, they've made this a no DQ match. Of course they did. Because they got a champion that can't have a fucking match with rules in it, because all he knows how to do is this outlaw death match bullshit. Good God, Ian Rotten should have done a run-in. They make it a no disqualification match. They're on the floor within 30 seconds, bouncing each other off the guardrails. Moxley does a dive. Sloppy brawl endlessly around the arena. In capital letters, I wrote, same as every match Moxley has. They go to the break. They come back from the break, and guess what? Same as in every other fucking Moxley match. This guy worked for a major promotion, learned absolutely nothing, went back to his mud show roots as soon as he got free. No wonder they fucking didn't keep him from leaving. In the break, they have set up 2 tables ringside, perfectly aligned with each other. Of course they have, but they don't use them yet, but you know it's coming. Garbage wrestling on national television. At least Lance Archer's forearms look good. Moxley's look like shit. But it was the same awkward, strong style indie outlaw match that guys have and Moxley had. Then Moxley goes out and puts 3 chairs in the ring. Why, you ask? Should you need 3 sledgehammers to beat a guy? He threw 3 chairs in the ring because he gets one and he hits Lance Archer with it. And then while Lance Archer is laying there, apparently unconscious, instead of trying to beat the guy and get out of the fucking fight with his title, Moxley sets up 2 chairs next to each other with the seats butting up against each other so that he can pick Lance Archer up and give him a Death Valley driver on these chairs. Outlaw garbage bullshit wrestling. You don't set furniture up in patterns and then drop a guy through it. If you've got a chair, hit him over the head, knock him out, and beat him. You make the furniture Surprises out of nowhere. Instead of setting it up and waiting for 10 minutes to see somebody take a bump through it, they take a bump through a table. It's at ringside because a timekeeper's sitting at it. Fucking hell. Garbage matches. So he could do the Death Valley Drive Rod, but Lance Archer comes out of it and chokeslams Moxley on the chair seats, which they immediately flew over instead of bending because he hit him sideways or whatever the fuck. It's garbage wrestling on national cable. Archer gets a trash can out from under the ring and hits Moxley with it. Moxley ball shots Lance Archer and then DDTs him off the apron of the ring through both of the tables. I wrote at that point, this match is almost everything wrong with modern wrestling all in one match. But then after that bump, where Moxley DDTs, that's his finish, his double arm DDT, DDTs Archer off the apron of the ring through two tables onto the concrete floor, throws him back in the ring. Moxley gives him another fucking DDT, and Archer kicked out of the goddamn that finish after the fucking big one through the tables. Then got up and gave Moxley a DDT, and then picked him up over his head at arm's length and gave him a big razor's edge bomb deal. All after getting DDT'd through two tables to the floor, but after the razor's edge bomb deal where he picked him up and gave him the razor's edge flat down on fucking Moxley's head, it's okay that Archer didn't sell the DDT because Moxley took Archer's big move and didn't sell it a goddamn second. And as soon as Archer rolled over and covered him, he fucking rolled Archer over 1, 2, 3 after taking that bump. Absolutely stench-ridden, rotten match. Horrible. Moxley is the biggest media creation, the biggest tall tale that's ever been told. This guy knows nothing about how to have a fucking wrestling match, except if he's in a rec center somewhere in front of 200 people. And that's pre-pandemic, the kind of crowds they drew. He learned nothing in the WWE. He learned nothing from being around all those big stars. He comes back here and all he can have on this television is garbage indie-style matches where everybody looks like an idiot. Am I seeing something wrong?
You're out of touch, old man. Go back to 1985. This is wrestling today. This is the next level. How could you criticize Moxley what he does in the ring? He's the AEW champion. The people love him. He comes through that crowd. The people go crazy.
He comes through what crowd?
Well, there would be crowd there. It's not their fault there's no crowd there. He comes through the invisible crowd. He gets in that ring, hits that double arm DDT.
Why can't he just fucking get his own locker room with a security guy? Get Pat Malone to watch the door of the locker room so Moxley can dress in the locker room instead of having to dress out in his fucking minivan out in the parking lot so he can come down the entranceway. God damn, this guy must have an ego like fucking Steven Seagal, that he's that goddamn badass martial arts expert and really he's a fat fuck with fucking painted black fucking balding hair. Because I don't know who the fuck Moxley's seeing when he looks at himself in the mirror. But fucking hell. And then Eddie Kingston had been doing color, and his crew of heels hit the ring and hit Lance Archer, the heel, with a chair. But Lance Archer didn't sell it. He just stood up and he and Jake left, and then Kingston choked Moxley out. Moxley finally stayed down, though. The fuck? Archer picked him up, gave him that razor's edge bomb, and he hit bam! And by the time Archer can cover, Moxley just rolls him over. No problem. Didn't fucking rattle my fucking cage at all. This is goddamn abysmal. It just...
The show's gotten worse. You know, like there were weeks early on, or even earlier this year, where even though there was stuff I really didn't like on this show, there was enough stuff that was okay that I kind of look forward to watching it and see what was going to happen. I dread watching this show now. Because even the guys I thought were good are now doing bad comedy stuff. They've got FTR. They've blown it so far with FTR. Miro is a guy I've been waiting for someone to do something with. He's now in there. He's a jerk-off. They got guys playing video games in the crowd, which replaces Britt Baker sitting in the crowd on a forklift, whatever the hell that was. There's bad comedy in multiple segments. Moxley, I hate his in-ring work. He's a great promo. They have lots of great promos. Eddie Kingston, Moxley, Cody's all right. Half of these guys don't talk every week. MJF's never used. Jericho's become a complete joke. They're pushing the best friends at Orange Cassidy more and more. I really have gotten to the point where I don't want to watch this show anymore.
Hey, and that's a lot of people have said, well, Cornette, if you don't like the show, why don't you watch? Why do you watch it? Why don't you not watch if you don't like? I'm grudge watching this show because we were lied to. We were promised a sports-based presentation, a fucking wrestling fans' dream promotion where all the best wrestlers would congregate and have a wonderful fucking show on national television. Instead, we've got the fucking Tony Khan Amateur Hour, and I'm not going to let them forget about it. I'm not going to let Uncle Dave forget that he's hitched his wagon to this fucking band of merry misfits.
You're watching this the way I was watching that show Vinyl, where I would hate watch it.
There you go. And I knew you didn't like it because you knew the music business. I liked it because I've never actually worked in the music business. I just like to kibitz. But you, having an insider's look, hated Vinyl. Well, I got an insider's look at this, and I fucking despise it. And I'm not going to let them fucking forget what they promised us and what they're delivering us is two different things. And I'm also not going to let anybody forget that more than a year ago, I predicted exactly what we're looking at. I said they couldn't play it straight. I said they would hire all their friends and relatives. I said they would make the whole fucking show a joke. And lo and behold, the prophecy has come true. And Uncle Dave might not like to remember that, but it's on tape. And just like my goddamn Booker of the Year awards that his publication bestowed upon me, he can't act like they ain't there. Just because he's changed his mind about what's good or not, depending on who's paying him and who's reading his fucking newsletter. So there you have it.
If you had only pushed the Young Bucks, you would have still been with it.
I pushed them as hard as I could, straight out the door into a waiting cab. All right. Do you have any closing thoughts?
I have the ratings.
You have well, let's close with those.
NXT, 651,000. AEW, 826,000.
So that's about 175 this week. So 150, 175. That's where it's been.
Yeah.
NXT doesn't get any bigger, doesn't get any smaller. AEW doesn't get any bigger, doesn't get any smaller unless one of the shows ain't on. And then the floaters go to the show that is on.
NXT does itself no favors.
No, I really think not they're an exciting show to watch.
No, they're in a position where if they just had, I don't know, a couple months of really good, exciting television, they could probably get a whole bunch of new people to watch them. Or a whole bunch of people who aren't watching them to watch them.
Yeah.
But instead, AEW is a train wreck where you don't know what's going to happen next. You know it's going to be silly, but a lot of people like that. Or some people like that. NXT, it's hard for me to imagine there are diehard NXT fans who can't wait for this show. You're basically just waiting to see when guys are going to leave.
That's too strong. I think there are diehard fans that like some of these guys and are willing to watch some of the other stuff on NXT to see those guys because it's always the same number, give or take. Just like the other show, there are diehard fans that like to watch these individual shows, and the people that float around are the less committed, and the people that ain't there at all are the ones who are telling them, guess what? Neither one of these shows is real great. But it is what it is. They ain't picking up nothing, neither one of them. Because why would you? If you didn't already like this shit, they've done nothing to make you like it, either side. But NXT has been more professional while they've done it.